Welcome back. Chapter 9. I decided to stop by the Pasadena shop since it had been months since I had even stepped foot inside. Excuse me. I had driven by just to make sure the sign was still on the door. The window behind the bars was dirty. I had to push the door open with my hip and I inhaled so much dust I started to sneeze. Boxes were everywhere. It looked more like a warehouse instead of a beauty supply. This place was ugly and old now, the way I'd been feeling lately. I did wonder if my customers had gotten impatient and sought out my competition. I didn't care, but I did. I was also wondering if grief could last forever, and if I ever stopped thinking about Carl, would that mean I didn't miss him anymore? What I've also been wondering, what if I'm just bored selling beauty products? When I heard the bell on the door, I jumped off the stool I've been sitting on behind the counter and put my hand on my pepper spray because sometimes transients come in not realizing what kind of store this is, although most of them are harmless. "Someone here to train me?" I heard a familiar voice ask. "Corinthia, what are you doing here?" Out of a habit, I drive by here when I go to my boring real estate office. And before you ask, no, I have not even sold a condo. I think I really just wanted to prove I could pass the damn test. Anyway, I saw your sexy Volvo parked out front, so I made an illegal U-turn and beelined it here to see why you didn't bother to call me to help you get this shit organized. But it looks like what you could really use is a moving truck. I don't even know where to start, I said, and moved a box of eyebrow pencils and horsetail shampoo out of the way so we could hug. You need to move this store. It's too small and it's old, and I have never liked this street or this neighborhood. Well, like us, it wasn't always old. Speak for yourself, huzzy. I went on a date. A what? You heard me, a date. I pulled out 2 Twizzlers from my secret drawer by the register and tried to bite off about 3 inches, but they were so hard, I instantly regretted it. Corinthia snatched them out of my hand and threw them on the floor. "You know damn well you're not supposed to be eating these nasty things, Lo. Hand me the rest of them." I whipped out the clear package. "They're stale," I said with remorse. "Have you been checking your levels?" "Sometimes." "So that's a no." "I'm not stupid, Lo. You need to take this more seriously." "I know. I've cut back on a lot of stuff." When were you last tested?" "About a month ago." "And what was your level?" "I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know? I haven't heard back from my doctor." "Then call the bitch." "Look, I'm only asking because too many people in my family have diabetes." And yes, I said had, since they're gone now because they didn't take it seriously. You can't do that. I'm going to call her tomorrow. "What's wrong with today?" "Just tell me about the date, Co." "I've actually had 3 dates. I was going to wait until our next dinner to tell you. But anyway, the first 2 were scary old men who had so many wrinkles it looked like they had been in a pool all day. The third one was round and had droopy eyes, which he had photoshopped out of his photos. Scared the hell out of me when I saw him sitting in the window at the Cheesecake Factory. But I didn't want to be rude, so I texted him and told him I broke my leg. He looked disappointed, but then he looked a little wacko. "Aren't you afraid?" "I mean, these men are strangers." "These old fuckers are harmless. They're not serial killers or rapists. Plus, I tweaked my profile." "You mean your age?" "You damn straight. I want to date someone who has at least 10 years left to live. Anyway, I have a date tomorrow night with a fellow who looks like he's still alive." "What did you change your age to?" "What difference does it make?" 60. She threw a bag of pink cotton balls at me. 55. I thought that was an exciting number. "What do you expect to get out of this, Co?" "That is a dumb question, Lorethia." "Well, I know you're not interested in having sex." "What is wrong with you? Of course I want to have sex." But you don't know these guys. I will after we have sex. Well, good luck, you old hoe, I said. And that we both started laughing, even though I found this to be quite scary. I had no idea Corinthia was really serious about going on dating sites. What's the point at our age? Hey, I can't breathe in here with all this dust. Can we go outside? She asked. I suppose so. Anyway, Lo, do me a favor. Don't tell the girls about any of this, please. I won't. They'd only be jealous. Well, not Sadie, since she's got a married lover. I still find that hard to believe. Sadie was never smart, but I didn't know she was stupid. I crossed my arms and looked at my sad building, which you wouldn't even know was here unless you knew it was here. And just as I had done with when Kwame asked, I heard myself say, I'm going to look for a nicer, bigger place. It's time to make a change. Corinthia gave me a high five. Hey, have you had any offers on the LA store? I had taken it off the market for a minute because I started getting queries and was not prepared to deal with all the energy and time it took, but I just put it back on. Well, let me know if you need some people or a company when you start looking for a better location for this ugly place. Remember, I do have a real estate license, so I have access to all listings, but I would only be available afternoons. And why is that? I couldn't wait around for you to hire me, so I got a part-time job. And doing what? I asked. I teach a cardio and strength training class for seniors at my gym. What? You mean like the silver sneakers business? Yeah, and even though I know you probably won't come and work out with your own kind, you need to think about doing some kind of exercise on a regular basis, Lo. Please, cut me some slack, Corinthia. This is my second lecture from you in an hour. It's called love, Huzzy. And she walked over and bent her 6'1" body down and gave me the biggest squeeze, then kissed me on the forehead. And I don't like that shade of silver you got. It looks too much like Cruella de Vil. I gave her the finger. Right after she left, I dialed Dr. Alex's office. It was Saturday, but I decided to leave a message anyway. Hello, this is Laretha Curry calling to find out if Dr. Alex received my test results. Refrigerator filling up, sorry. Since I haven't heard back, I'm hoping it's good news. I've been doing my very best to cut down on sweets and carbs, and I recently joined a gym and have been exercised with silver sneakers. It's so refreshing to work out with people my age. Anyway, I've already lost about 4 pounds and I'm hoping to lose about 30 more by my birthday, which gives me about 5 months. I look forward to hear from you soon. Again, this is Laretha Curry. I don't know why I lied. Yes, I do, because I want it to be true. What didn't do something about it, girl? The next day, I was in Petco parking lot, having just brought BB King some new rawhide bones and a 30-pound bag of his anti-arthritis food. I was loading the giant bag in the back of the Volvo when it slipped out of my hands, splattered brown kernels all over the asphalt. I just stood there and watched them roll. I was on the verge of crying as I thought about how Carl and then Kwame always did this for me. Just leave that, ma'am, I heard a young male voice say to me. I'll run and get you another bag. When I turned around, he looked like he didn't weigh more than 100 pounds, but I just said, thank you, young man. Next time, ask for help. That's what we're here for. I'll be right back. And off he went. I felt my cell phone shiver, and I was surprised to see a text from Odessa. I need to talk to you about something important. Can you meet me at Carol's Diner if you're not too busy? It's very important. I text her back. Give me about 10 minutes. Of course, I was wondering what could be so important, and I was just praying she didn't need to borrow any more money. I was just tired of saying yes and felt it was time for me to start saying no. I was already coating myself with some invisible armor to prepare for her latest sob story. Here you go, ma'am. He slid the bag in the back of the wagon and lowered the door. I tried to hand him a $10 bill and he waved his hand no. I stuffed it in his shirt pocket anyway. Never turn down a tip, I said, and thank you. Odessa waved to me from the window. She was sitting in a booth. As usual, there was a worried look on her face. I wish she would wear makeup and stop frowning so much. I can't remember the last time I saw my sister smile. I waved back. When I got inside, she jumped up to give me a hug. Her breasts felt larger than they used to, and she was squishy. I wondered if I felt the same to her. She was wearing baggy blue jeans and a purple sweatshirt, even though it was 80 degrees outside. I sat down. So, I said, what's going on? I have to move out of the guest house. Why? Because the new owners have evicted me. They've given me 24 hours. Can they do that? Yes. But why did they just decide? I knew they wanted me out because they were going to start renovating, but they hadn't given me a timeline. We don't really get along. After all, they're living in what used to be my home, my house, and have made me feel like a squatter. I guess they're just fed up with dealing with me. Oh, so this is how she tells her sister about what's going on? I'm sorry, Odessa. Do you have any vacancies at your apartment? I think I have a 1-bedroom. I would really prefer 2. Doesn't that Kwame live in a 2-bedroom? He did, yes. Can't he move into the 1-bedroom? She has so much nerve I almost can't stand it. No, he cannot. He swapped with Cinnamon and Jonas when they had the babies. I do have a 2-bedroom coming up, but it won't be ready for a couple of weeks. I have to be out by tomorrow. God damn it, Odessa. And I meant God damn it. So don't even think about correcting me. Can I stay with you for 2 weeks? No. Why not? Because it just won't work, and because BB Keaton doesn't like you. Well, the feeling is mutual. Anyway, what am I supposed to do? I just looked at her. I can't believe we are twins. You can stay at one of those long-term stay places, Oakwood Apartments, I think they're called. They're clean. You need a credit card to stay there, and mine is maxed out. What about your Social Security, Odessa? I only get about $1,700 a month, and I have a lot of bills. I didn't even feel like asking what kind of bills, so I just said, I'll put it on one of my credit cards. Thank you, sis. But let me ask you this. What floor is the 2-bedroom on? Is the kitchen updated? People who need help. 3 weeks later, she moved in. She called me once she was settled. I can't wait for you to see how I've decorated the apartment. Have you seen Cinnamon and Jonas and the twins yet? No. Have you bothered to say hi? No. Why not? Well, I'm not crazy about babies, and I'm not crazy about Jonas and Cinnamon either. They're such hippies. It's like they're stuck in a time warp, and I think it's the 70s. Well, I love them. Oh, correction. Cinnamon is Odessa's daughter. Made a mistake. I thought it was Jaleesa's. Okay, never mind. Well, I'll be cordial when I do see them, I promise, she said. But guess what? I got a job. I'm working as an attendant at a senior facility, the one Ma's in. What? Why? Take a wild guess, Laretha. You don't work with Ma, I hope. Why in God's name would you say it like that? It just doesn't seem like that would be healthy for her. Really? And why not? Because you make her too emotional. Like you don't. Anyway, I work in a completely different wing with parents who have more problems than mom. Patients who have more problems than mom. Ma doesn't have problems, Odessa. She's just old and occasionally has a hard time remembering things. Anyway, I have to go. I need my rest to deal with those old folks. I work the evening shift. And she hung up. The following morning, I woke up and reached for my cell phone, but it wasn't there. I bolted straight up because I always put it on a nightstand. But then I remember I had taken my shower, put on my pajamas and bathrobe, sat in Carl's chair, and taken one of my newest envelopes out of the basket which was full again. Reading Ma's letter was the last thing I remember doing. I looked in my purse, but the phone wasn't in there. I was trying to remember the last time I used it, but I couldn't. I put my robe on and walked into the kitchen to look, but decided I would eat something first because I knew the only other place it could be was the car and my stomach was growling. I grabbed the tasteless granola, some raspberry, and low-fat milk and sat down at the kitchen table to pretend I was enjoying it. BB King started wanting to go out, and when I reached for the doorknob, I thought I was seeing things because there is a driveway, but there in the driveway was Jaleesia's car, and she was slumped against the steering wheel inside of it. I flung the door open so fast it forced BB King to jump off the small landing. I reached into the pocket of my robe for my phone to dial 911, but of course it wasn't there. I tried to open the car door, but it was locked. I yelled as loud as I could and banged on the window. Jaleesia! She leaned back slowly, rolled the window down, looked at me, smiled, and in a slurred voice said, I just stopped by for a quick visit. I was on my way home. She was still drunk, but I didn't care. I was just relieved she was breathing. I reached into the window, opened the car door, wrapped my arms around her waist, squeezed her as tight as I could, and helped her inside. She smelled like alcohol, which I was almost grateful for given the alternatives. When we got inside the kitchen, I rubbed my hand up and down her back and looked at her glazed eyes, her balmy skin, her short afro, and her chapped lips. This woman, who is my only daughter, suddenly looked like me when I was her age, and I kissed her forehead and her cheeks and said, You are home. That's good to know. I just need to lie down for a minute, Jaleesia said, as I helped her walk up the steps like she was handicapped. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. I led her to the guest bedroom, which was right down the short hallway from Carl's and mine. When I opened the door, I was glad Kwame had moved out. Even though there's another bedroom down the hall, she would be close enough to hear in this one. She pushed her sneakers off, then pulled up the throw at the foot of the bed. She fell on one side so her head landed on a pillow, and within seconds, she was snoring. I backed out of the room slowly and closed the door as gently as I could. Once in the living room, I walked in circles trying to decide what I should do. My envelope was still open on the table from the night before. Inside it was a smaller pink envelope with a flimsy yellow piece of notebook paper in it and a Post-it stuck to the front. Found this in my scrapbook. I wrote this to you, the future you, when you left for college. Anyway, I'm sending it to you now. I decided to read the letter again. Dear Larethia, I have a lot of regrets, and I'm not even 40 yet. But I don't regret having you and Odessa. Well, that's not all the way true. What I regret is having you when I had you. I wish I had waited. I wish I had had a husband to help me raise you both. But just make sure you don't give yourself away to the highest bidder. And don't be a cheap date, as the saying goes. If you're reading this and you're over 40, I hope you are doing what you want with your life. I hope you are more patient than I was, because none of us are perfect. You will stumble, but figure out how to get back up. Ask for help if you can't, and if someone else needs it, give it to them. I hope you understand what I mean. Love, Mom. P.S. And have some fun. Get on as many airplanes as possible. The only reason I've been to the airport was to pick somebody up. As I folded the notebook paper and put it back in a pink envelope, which was inside the white one I had brought her, I wondered if mine had written more of these letters, but this one was what I needed today. I got up and walked down the hall to check on Jalecia, who I knew was still sleeping because I could hear her snoring. I decided it was safe for me to take a shower. But by the time I got dressed and walked out in the hallway, I saw her bedroom door was open and the bed was empty. I rushed to the kitchen, and through the window, I saw that the only car in the driveway was mine. I sat down at the table, folded my arms, and lowered my forehead on top of them. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to help my daughter because she didn't seem like she wanted help or knew she needed it. Oh. But I couldn't just abandon her. I didn't want to just sit by and watch her fall and not be able to get back up. I took BB King on a short walk to the corner and back, then put him in the backyard by the pool. He had a spot he liked under the tree and a bone. He liked to watch squirrels and birds from there, and every once in a while he would capture a snake. I got inside the Volvo, and I almost lost it when I heard my phone ringing under the front seat. There it was. I reached down and pulled it out, answering louder than I should have. Hello? Good morning, Miss Curry. This is Shayna calling from Dr. Alice's office. Are you okay? Hello, Shayna. Yes, I'm okay, I suppose. I've been waiting to hear back from Dr. Alice about my test results. And because I haven't, I assume no news meant good news. I've left 3 messages for you at your work number. Work? The last receptionist accidentally deleted the files for my patient's home and cell numbers from the computer, which is why she no longer works here. So all we had was your work number. I see from your file that you left us a message about a month ago, but you didn't leave a contact number. We mailed you your results and a letter instructing you to contact us. When we didn't hear back, we finally called the pharmacist to get your cell number, which is why I'm calling you now. So, where's the doctor? Dr. Alex is at a medical conference in New York, where her daughter also goes to college. I wanted to yell, am I going to live or what? But instead I said, so, were you calling about my results? You should have a message from the doctor on your work voicemail, but your A1C was 8.3, which is much too high. The doctor called in a prescription with 2 refills to CVS to get you started on medications to bring it down. But she'll want to see you as soon as she's back to discuss a treatment and lifestyle plan. What did you say? I said, never mind, I heard you. So what should my A1C be? I don't want to alarm you, but the doctor said it would be much healthier if you could get it down closer to the 7 range, although 6 point anything would be ideal. You can Google the table and see for yourself. Please have the scheduler call me with her next available appointment. Thank you, I said and hung up. I was pissed at the old receptionist, at this new receptionist, at the doctor, at my daughter, and at myself for being so stupid, so weak. We both have a damn disease. I started crying because I felt helpless, and I wondered if Jalecia felt the same way. I picked up the prescription. I called Jalecia, but of course it went straight to voicemail. I text her every day for 5 straight days. I know you've got a drinking problem, Jalecia, and it is nothing to be ashamed of. I hope you go back to AA. I was glad you came home, even under the circumstances, because it told me you knew you would be safe here. Please don't shut me out, Jalecia. I'm on your side. I have diabetes. Please call me or Cinnamon to let us know you're okay. I love you, Mom. Oh, that's the end of chapter 9. I apologize for all of the interruptions. We had a little situation going on here that we needed to take care of. Well, my husband had to take care of. And so about this chapter, Jalecia fell off the wagon. And she did find her way to her mother's house, but she didn't stay. Maybe she just don't feel safe at her mom's house. But why though? Why won't she let her mother help her in that way? And as for Odessa, I guess it didn't need to be spoken because Lo already know her situation. But people always ask for help, right? Financially. And then turn around and give a slight little attitude. I just don't like that. So I just wish people would be more grateful when people really do help them and show that they're grateful for it. But that's the end of chapter 9, and I shall see you in chapter 10. Bye for now.